What is going on, guys? Hope you're all well. Yeah, so I'm gonna do the usual, do another breakdown. I'm gonna try and take it steady and just really explain this clearly, because I feel like my other videos have been a bit rushed, so I'm gonna try and do a quality video. So yeah, starting out on the daily, as always. Overall, we're bullish. We haven't broken any major lows or anything like that. Having said that, as I said yesterday on Sipes Zoom, we are in a bearish leg. We had a delta held set here, and then we've been setting cell structure all the way down, and on top of that, with the imbalances, you can see basically where sellers are defending. So until this high is taken out, we're still in that bearish leg, so we could see a continuation down. Having said that, on the daily we're printing a model 2, it looks like. So here what we're really doing, and the reason we'll see some sort of consolidation pretty much, or I'm pretty sure on the higher time frame we see on the 4 hour and the 10 we see like an accumulation playing out. We want to see some structure setting, maybe a sweep of the lows, retest of these levels, and then a move on up. So that's what I'm anticipating. Drop down onto the 4 hour. This is what I'm seeing at the moment. We've got untested levels. I guess what we're seeing is a wall of absorption, but to be honest, sell side absorption, we don't really want to see that. I think we would prefer to see the buy wall, which is holding here. So this is sort of my thought process, and I've shared the pre-flight checklist, which I do every time. And each time you're just dropping down the time frames, you're marking important highs, lows. Past few days we've had this gold zone, which is a reason for the selling off here, and up here, but now only by a small margin, but that's been taken out. So more bullish confluence, and I think potentially we could move up from here, but I think perhaps we see one more sell off, a bit of a fake out, sweep the lows, and then move on up. And if sellers take full control, then we could see a retest of the base. So coming into the 10-minute, I missed the opening of the session today. I had to take my mum to the hospital. She's fine. And when I got back, it's sort of later half of the session, so I missed the sell-off. I haven't even looked at it, but I'll mark it with you. Just looking at it fresh. Easy peasy, right? Huge sell. And if we drop down to the lower time frame, the same delta held pattern I've marked there will be on the 1 minute in this area, and then on the 10T, and then whoosh. So I missed that, come down. We've moved from a sell base down to a buy base, and when I said that on the higher time frame we can see like an accumulation pattern, we can see it. We've got a base that's holding, come back down, buyers reaccumulate, come back down, buyers reaccumulate, and then now people are sort of mixed bag because we're below the VWAP, so it could sell off from here. But I honestly think because this accumulation is held, we push on up towards the DP level at least, if not up towards sort of all-time highs. I think that's probably the way we're heading if we can break above this VWAP and see it as support. Anywho, so this gold zone here is marked from this delta held here. So at the start of each session, you should be dropping down on the 4 hour, identifying sort of top, bottom of the range, where are you happy to buy, where are you happy to sell. You can use the box tool or the discount tool, but eventually you get a good enough idea to the point where when you open the session, you can check the bottom of the range, you'll see a delta held, right, okay, that's where the buy base is. Okay, we're coming to the open, London's just printed a delta held for the sell, okay, let's draw a fib on, and then you've got your areas of interest for both buyers and sellers, and you can literally take these massive trades. So we've dropped down to the 10 minute, we've identified the delta held. On top of that, we've got a bunch of sellers trapped in there, so it's an extra confluence. And then we want to zoom in and start seeing the structure forming. This I just mark imbalances and general structure on the 10 minute, and then I'll drop down to the 5 and the 1. And it's going to look a bit chaotic, but that's kind of all by design, really. So yeah, I came in late to the session. I don't really trade at the back end of New York, because after 5 PM, I believe that's when London shuts and then the volatility dies down. So you just have to be a lot more patient. But my notes coming into the session that we were trapping lots of buyers still. Lots of buyers. So just seeing that, see sellers putting up a wall, trapping buyers. I've drawn a box on there. That box will be drawn on the 10 minute, I believe. And then we're selling off into our area of interest. And then we just have to sit on our hands and wait for structure to form. So initially I was looking at the 1 minute. I was marking all sorts of shit. I was marking this low, this high, boom, boom, boom. And it's obvious that, we've got buyers still getting trapped. And the structure's just not clean. And even then, this high gets taken out, but this high didn't create this low. If we want to see, if this was to be a valid setup, this would want to be up here, and we'd want to see that taken out. But we don't. So we sit on our hands, and at this point I'd sat through maybe 60 to 90 minutes of just watching this shit. Watch it move up to here and then pull back, and I'm there starting to look for delta helds in this area, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's ready, and then it's like, and I was so locked in, I thought, finally I'm gonna hit this banger trade, and I'm good, I've made it. But nope. But thankfully I still have my zen, I'm still good. Price drops down, sweeps the bottom. Okay, cool, we've got a new area of interest at that point. In order for this to become a valid delta held, we need to see the high taken out then. So we wait, and at this point I think I got to like here in all this sideways chop. I was like, I'm starving, I'm gonna set an alert for 25590, bottom of this gold zone. And there was I can't remember exactly where, but there was a delta held pattern in here somewhere which created this resistance, and then you're just going to see it ping ponging all the way through. So I thought, fuck it, I'm not going to sit here, I'm starving. I'll set a timer. If it goes off without me, fine. If it doesn't, either way, I'm good. So I set a timer, went downstairs, started making my food. Got halfway through, came back up, checked on it, and as I came up, ping, it was coming up here. I thought, cool, alright. It starts dilly-dallying, and it took a while. Obviously back end of London, so back end of New York, so price action's really slow. And I thought, chicken's halfway cooked, so I've got to go flip it. Set another alert for around, I think it was 25570, because I was expecting it to come all the way down into the gold zone, which you should usually wait for, to be honest. And that's the only bad thing, that's the only thing I don't like about this trade, is we pull back, and I marked these this sell area of interest. and we wick into it to a T. So I'm good at this point. Like, this is when I'll start looking at the 10T when we're coming into the area of interest, because again, we've pulled back, we've just broken the high, so we're paying attention to this delta held pattern now, which then gives us that gold zone. Yeah, so super simple, and then we can just look in this area for extra confluence. So I mark these sell order blocks because we know that they're good for support, resistance, etc. And it played out to a T. So then we drop down to the 10T. And what do we see again? Delta held, low taken out, comes up, takes out the high that created the low, pull back into the gold zone, and that's your entry. And now I've started looking at the 5T as just like a final confluence. Where are we? Pulls back into the gold zone, trap sellers, moves on up, and at this point, from what I've seen, when we do the gold zone retest, when you've waited for the usually just the 1 minute in a high time, 1 minute delta held in a 4 hour delta held or base, this is basically all you need to wait for. So start of the session, you mark your bases, which is you identify them as delta helds at the top and the bottom of the range. You'll see them, they're there time after time. Wait for price to come back and retest it, and when it retests price, you wait for the structure to set, like we've just seen on the 5 minute. Delta held yet again, pulls into the gold zone of the 5 minute, and then we see it play out on the 1 minute. Did we see that? Let me just double check. I want to be clear. No, sorry. Usually it'll play out on the 1 minute, but in this case we have it on the 5. Pulls into the gold zone, then you drop down to your 10T. So either the 5 minute or the 1, just as long as it's clean structure and it's a valid delta held and you're not forcing the trade. Pull back into the gold zone, and then drop down to your 5T. An entry pretty much. I didn't even wait for structure to shift. Let's notice this imbalance, this seller trapped, and then ping, I'm in. If it drops down any further than that, it's basically with this, as soon as it starts moving upwards, it should not come back down. So pretty much when it comes into say $100, $200 profit, if you're trading on a mini, maybe 300, you can just move it to break even, and it's just a safe trade. And the past few days that I've hit it on 1 minute, if you leave the trade alone, it'll easily do 1,500, 2 grand, 3 grand. Like, I'm not sure what that is in points. The other day I left a 1 micro runner and it made $200. So I'm pretty sure that's 200 ticks. Is it? Who knows? Who cares? Money. So yeah, that's basically it. That's your top to bottom analysis entry criteria. All it requires is that you identify areas of interest, and then wait for it to come in, print the structure, and then just sit on your hands. And it's what I call the Inception method. You see it on one time frame, then you drop down another, and then another, and then boom, and it's just super strong. And today, I think because it's lower volume, because obviously it's a back end of New York session, I followed it up, and you can comfortably sit and watch price. Let me get out the 10T, out of the 5T, sorry. So I just caught this nice move up and took profit. It was like $700 on 1 minute. Super high confidence trade. You're not sweating anything like that. Take your profits, move to break even, leave a runner, and then I was just monitoring and moving my stop loss into profit, and then I'm just watching price action. see another delta held here, pullback, okay, cool, price came up. This was a prominent area that sellers were going to defend, and I was contemplating taking profits, but from the past few days when I've caught these trades, I was like, you shouldn't need to touch it, so I just decided to leave it alone. Stops were, for my runners, were at 25590, and it just took me out, no sweat. And yeah, that's pretty much it, top to bottom. It's really easy and quite remarkable that it's taken basically 2.5 years to figure out, and that one trade was basically the result of banging my head against the wall for 2.5 years. So as simple as it may seem, it's $700 on a challenge. It's not necessarily the outcome that's important, it's the understanding behind the trade. You're not just reacting to price, you're turning up, you're reading. Nothing's really left up to luck, or like you're not fluking it and catching random good trades or whatnot, and literally top to bottom calculated, methodical as fuck, like. And I think that's basically what you want. And again, once you understand where price is moving to and from, and you get good at trading these base trades, then from there, if you want to fuck about and start scalping and catching little bits here and there, then go for it. But I think it's best to focus on the basic structure, get your bearings on price and where you are overall, and then from there you can start doing the complex shit. Learn to walk before you can run, pretty much. Anyway, it's just over 15 minutes. I hope that that's a little bit better than my usual videos, and I'm also hoping the audio's okay. Any feedback, always open to it. Any questions, just shoot me a message.